Hello, brothers and sisters. Hey, thanks for joining me again today. You know, it's another day and another story of Karens running wild in Scotland. And I like Scottish stories since I started out there. There's a counselor in Falkirk, I think, who's got into a little bit of bother for hateful speech, I think. I think that's what I read. Let's watch what she said and let me know what you think about it.
Trying my hardest to bring community cohesion. I've been overwhelmed with the contacts I've had from people within Falkirk. And, you know, there is a true unrest and it's scary. It's scary as a local resident, somebody who's born and bred here. I shouldn't have said that.
Well, do you see why this is people sometimes think that reform are very much against having people here?
It just came out just...
That's unfortunate for you, I guess, but ultimately, do you see why people who aren't from here, who have maybe made their home here, are annoyed when they hear an elected official say that people are born and bred here?
So there you have it. I think the offended comment was she was born and bred in Falkirk. And she was actually embarrassed to say it. Hen, don't be embarrassed of who you are. Nothing you can do about it. Be proud to be Scottish. Be proud to be born and bred in Falkirk. Why are we even talking about this? The Karens are running amok in the UK because the reporter even commented, oh yeah, that was probably a bad thing to say. And the counselor realized, oh my goodness, that was probably a bad thing for me to say. We're living in a simulation, folks. You can't even be proud of where you were born and bred in Scotland now. William Wallace would be turning over in his grave. So let's look a little bit more into this story and see what happened to her after this comment. This is in the Scottish Sun. Under fire, Scots Reform UK councillor probed by cops after born and bred comment. What the hell? Do the police not have anything better to do in Scotland, really? Can they catch firebombers who are bombing Ibrox? That would probably be better. That's the video that just came up. I did that story yesterday. Oh my goodness. So can the cops catch some real baddies like the guys who burned up this statue at Ibrox? Cops are probing comments made by Scottish Reform councillor who said she was born and bred during an interview. Falkirk councillor Claire Mackey-Brown has been reported to Police Scotland and the council standards watchdog after her remarks to STV News and appearances at anti-migrant protests sparked outrage. If the police actually charge her, or if the council sanctions her, they should all be sacked. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being proud of who you are and proud of where you were born. Most Scots are proud of where they were born. Stop the nonsense. A 22-page complaint has been handed to police and the Ethical Standards Commissioner for Scotland, outlining alleged breaches and calling for her to be investigated for hate crimes because she said she was proud to be born and bred in Scotland? Really? They're having a laugh, right? This is AI, right? There's got to be more to this. She must have said other stuff, right? The councillor who joined Nigel Farage's party in March has slammed the malicious complaint and accused its author of trying to destroy her reputation. If I was in Scotland, I would vote for her just because of this complaint. I don't even need to know anything else about her, but I would stand behind her if I lived in Falkirk and I would vote for her. Speaking to STV about hotel protests, Claire Mackey-Brown said, there is true unrest and it's scary. It's scary as a local resident, somebody who was born and bred here. Then she got flustered and she muttered, I shouldn't have said that. Hey, Claire Hen, don't listen to the nonsense. Be proud of who you are. I'm going to say it again. This is crazy to me that the police would even entertain this. As soon as I saw that complaint come in, if I was a senior officer there, I'd probably send someone around and chap the door of who made the complaint and investigate them for wasting police time. She then said, that just came out. It just came out. I'm saying that as a local resident because I was born in Slamanan. It wasn't as a counselor but I do understand, yeah. The National revealed the complaint alleged Counselor Claire Mackey Brown conduct represents a serious departure from standards expected of Democratic representatives. No, it doesn't. Don't listen to the Karens. Chuck a lot of them out. Stop this woke DEI nonsense. Her association with far-right extremists, use of exclusionary language, and continued participation in increasingly violent protests demonstrates fundamental unfitness for elected office. Okay, so she's gone to some protests as well. Was she arrested at said protests for something that she did? I doubt it. Anything the left doesn't like is termed far-right. The evidence supports both Standards Commission sanctions at the highest level and serious consideration of criminal proceedings under the public order legislation. Because she said she was born and bred in Scotland, that is now being investigated as a criminal public order offense? Really? Really? The complaint goes on to argue that failing to investigate would be a serious abdication of regulatory responsibility and send concerning messages about official tolerance of extremist associations and discriminatory conduct by elected officials. It reportedly argued Mackey Brown's reference to being born and bred in Scotland could be viewed as insulting to asylum seekers. So what? Insult them. It's not illegal to insult people. By implying their lesser legitimacy and potential breach of public order in 1986 under offenses for intentionally causing harassment, alarm, and distress. There we go again. That Public Order Act needs to be rewritten. Everything anyone says could be framed as intentionally causing harassment, alarm, or distress to someone. Yes, I want all the migrants to go home, and that will probably cause them harassment, alarm, and distress. I don't care. It's not illegal for me to have that opinion that they should go home and not be here, especially the illegal ones. And with the open borders of the Tories and Labour of the last 10 years, they've just let anybody in. I want them all to go home. And it's not because it's racist. It's because there's too many of them and there's not enough resources. And some of them are criminals. They're raping little girls and getting a year for the attempt. While the concerned fathers who are taking their daughters around to hotels are getting questions about why they did that, or the protesters are getting 2 years for the protest more than the attempted rapist. Things are topsy-turvy in the UK, and it's only going to get worse because Keir Starmer and his Stasi are going to give everybody the national digital ID, whether they like it or not. The phrase was described in the complaint as exclusionary and discriminatory and could possibly violate counselor requirements to avoid language that could reasonably be perceived as discriminatory. That is not discriminatory. She said she was born and bred here, and she was concerned by everything that was going on. There is nothing wrong. Tell me in the comments I'm wrong on this one, boys. I'm wound up about this one. It further explains how born and bred could carry specific connotations in immigration discourse, particularly when contrasted with the presence of asylum seekers. Well, I'll just say it right out. The asylum seekers should all be sent home. We got too many of them. I get it. Lots of places are worse than the UK, but we can't take everyone. Mackey Brown took to social media to defend herself, writing, "Today I received a malicious complaint from an anonymous person sent to multiple organizations, including the police, demanding I am investigated for hate crimes due to me stating in a recent media interview, I'm born and bred in Falkirk. I'm a born and bred in Falkirk lassie." This really seems like we're living in a simulation, folks. This is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Tell me I'm wrong. Also, that I am removed from my role as counselor from breaching the code of conduct for simply doing the job I was elected to do, speaking up for my constituents and the people across Falkirk who have contacted me. The level of detail provided in this complaint is a clear and calculated effort to destroy my credibility and silence me from highlighting the many issues affecting our town center. Yeah, it's honestly, it's probably someone from another party who just wants her job and wants her out and wants to get their person in. And so they're just writing up nonsense and making complaints to the police. And then the police are wasting police time with this. Go catch some burglars. Go catch some rapists. Go catch some carjackers. How many knife crimes are unsolved? I'd like to know statistics on all of that. But instead, the police are wasting time going around finding out why fathers are driving their daughters to migrant hotels and telling them, hey, this is a bad place, don't come here. I just want to show it to you. They're arresting people in the middle of the night for sending a meme saying, fuck Hamas. Do they not have anything better to do? There is no hate crime, racism, or inciting behavior by me at any time, nor am I associated with a supportive or any far-right extremist views. I represent the people of Falkirk solely and completely. I won't be stopped or silenced. Every day I do my absolute best for my constituents and communities and continue to do so. The complaint also criticized Mackie Brown's silence at an anti-migrant protest outside Falkirk's Cladden Hotel, where she shared a stage with Patriotic Alternative member Richard McFarland, who told crowds white people would be the minority in 2060s. I think that's probably true if you keep importing all these migrants from countries that aren't predominantly white. I actually think that's probably a fact. So what's the problem here? They're complaining about her silence? So she said nothing, but that's bad. Well, yeah, I guess it is when they're arresting folk like Granny Rose Doherty for standing outside of an abortion center, minding her own business with a sign that says something like, coercion is a crime, but I'm here to talk if you'd like. If you're going to arrest grannies for that, I guess you can arrest counselors for standing in a stage and not saying anything. We are living in the world of idiocracy. You know that, right, folks? It called this the most serious aspect of her misconduct, adding, Counselor Brown's silence during and after McFarland's speech represents a fundamental failure of leadership and potentially violates multiple code provisions. What? Because she didn't disavow whatever it was he said? So it's a crime not to say anything now. I thought even in Scotland you had the right to not say anything. I guess not. You tell me, folk. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, we have received a complaint and inquiries are ongoing. Reform UK and the Ethical Standards Commission have been contacted for comment. So this story is from October 11th. So this is new news. This is just from today. And so again, this is just shocking. This is either Karen's or her political opponents weaponizing the police force to shut down speech they don't like, or just shut down their opponent in general so they can get their own person in. I'm not even going to ask it as a question. I usually ask, is this okay? I'm not even going to ask. I'm just going to categorically say, what I watched in that video, she did nothing wrong. She had nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to apologize for. The police should immediately go find whoever wrote up that complaint and investigate them for wasting the police time and see what they can charge them with. Because this was a malicious complaint. And the actual complaint itself, they should have just thrown it in the bin. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you like this, and don't watch it if you don't. Thanks, bye.